The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Everybody, it's time. Welcome to the Happiness Jungle TV show with yours truly, the Chief Happiness Officer, Lyn-Dee Eldridge. And I love our next guest. We are literally, oh my goodness, we are so blessed to have her. She's from Chicago, Illinois. She brings us so much value when we truly have to understand, and I did use the word have to, understand what forgiveness is all about. In order to forgive yourself, to be free, this woman is going to give you so many gold nuggets, so many things that you're going to apply right now while you're watching the show. So even if you want to go get a pen and paper, make sure you have a pen and paper, because my next guest is going to inspire you to understand what it truly means to forgive yourself so you could set yourself free. Today, I have the great pleasure of speaking with Diana Guy from Chicago, Illinois. Hi, Diana.
Hi, Lynn. Hi, everybody. I'm so honored to be here with you. OMG, I am so honored to be here. I really hope that I really do live up to all the awesome things you said about me, but thank you so much.
You know, Diana, you and I have not even met face to face, but like-minded people stick and stay in the same inspiring circles, don't we?
Yes, 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 we do.
Yes, we do. And the common denominator that you and I have is Mr. Les Brown himself.
Yes.
And I am so glad to be your sister.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be yours as well.
And I am so excited to hear what you have to say about forgiveness.
Yay, I'm ready to tell it. I am so excited about this topic, and this topic has saved my life. This is one of the reasons why I created this course, to help individuals and help them to walk them through the process. So they literally have somebody to hold their hands, because I've read books, I've seen tapes, I've done all of that. And one of the problem with books is that you read it and you get that little aha moment, and then you put it down and you kind of forgot what you read about. And so with my course is that I am physically holding your hand and walking you through. And how I do that is I have retreats and webinars, and I send out, motivational stuff, so you can have an ongoing everyday basis. And so how forgiveness has saved my life is I came from an abandoned background, where I hold on to a grudge and a hatred for 22 years for my mother. And I had to find a way to move on from that. And forgiveness is what saved my life. And set me free to be able to live. I'm not financially wealthy, but I am the wealthiest woman in the world. Why is that? I wake up every day walking in the power of forgiveness. And because I know I have my secret sauce and my secret weapon, I go outside and do what you will, because I know I'm free. I really truly understand what the power of freedom means, or what the meaning of freedom means through the power of forgiveness. Yes.
Yeah, I love that. You know, Diana, we have people that are sitting and watching us right now, and they have a similar story just like yours, your past. So I want to go back. You mentioned that it was your mom that abandoned you.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you?
Well, my first recollection of memory of forgiveness, where I was probably 5 years old. but I didn't understand what the feeling meant until I got older. So my first memory was one day I woke up and I was in the yard playing with these ducks. I didn't know they were called ducks at the time. I called them birds. And I was
That's cute.
right, and I was small, and I always loved birds. And so I was eating what I thought was dirt, And my brother came and really saved my life. And this lady came and grabbed me by the arm and said, don't eat that. But for a moment, I didn't know who she was. But in that moment, I realized she was not my mother. And I was like, wait, where is my mother? Then it kind of, I was small, so it kind of went away, and it only lasts for so long. And then probably around 2 or 3 weeks later, my grandma, well, I came to know her, she was my grandmother by my father's side. I remember her bringing us to a place and just leave us there, me and my two brothers. My dad footstep, just plop us down and take your kids. They're not my responsibility. That was the second time I experienced forgiveness. And once again, I did not see my mother. And so as I got older and other things happened along the way. But I remember one main incident was I was giving birth and I had early pregnancy. I was 15 when I had my daughter.
Wow.
And my third time of experiencing abandonment by my mother was when she basically left me to give birth by myself.
Wait. A mother at the age of 15. Angel.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And, it was tough. It was hard. But as I got, and that pain that you carry, that resentment that you carry, let me tell you, Lynn, I mean, I've done everything because of that, because it was manifested in other ways. I was angry. I used to think I was just outspoken when in turn I was being rude. It was just my manifestation of my lack of love and my lack of appreciation and my lack of feeling all of this that you're supposed to get from your parents.
Right.
So I was manifested it into other people and treated them badly. But in my eyes, I was just being me.
Right.
I also thought, teach people or talk about what are you being you at the expense of others. We also have to be very careful about that. So with that, I had to come to a place where in order for my mom and I to really have a relationship, I have to move away from this hate and this grudge and this, you can't tell me nothing because now I feel like I don't need a mother, right? And so I carry that weight for 22 years.
My goodness.
It's a burden. It's a weight. It manifests. I mean, I wear the best clothes. I buy the best cars. I live in a nice apartment. I do all of this that I thought was like just, I was living, I was enjoying, I was having fun. But in turn, I was ruining my life. I was ruining my financial life. I was really ruining my personal life. I was ruining my jobs because I would just quit a job like it was nobody's business.
Right. You know what I'm hearing here, Diana? It's exactly what I always talk about. Happiness equals success. Success will never equal happiness.
Equal happiness.
And you were running, and you were playing hard, and you could afford all these great stuff.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, you were not happy.
I was spiritually bankrupt. I was financially bankrupt. I was personally bankrupt. Everything just came crashing down on me.
Hello? But you found purpose in it.
Yes.
You didn't go into a pity party. Tell me about that. How did you become who you are today from all of those horrific things that happened in your life? I am so inspired by you. I feel like I'm being lifted right now.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you feel like that, because that's what I want to bring to people. I want to bring that I am not just writing a book just in the sake of writing a book or reading the Bible and come up with what the scripture said to give it to you. I'm saying I walked this path. I have lived this. This is what saved my relationship with my mother so I can have a relationship with her. So how I came to this point was my sister Rosemary, I love her to death, but she has a way of poking. And if you have a family member that likes to poke, I understand.
What do you mean by
But
that? Describe what you mean by that, by poking. I know what you mean, but I want my audience to be really crystal clear about this poking.
right. Which means that if they know that there is an elephant in the room, they will shine the brightest light on that elephant.
Okay.
Right? But only your elephant. When it comes to their elephant is a whole different story. But your elephant, they will shine a big old light and want you to talk about it. So I have a sister like that. And that day I walk over to my mom's house. My mom wasn't there at the time, but my older sister was there that I also have hatred and resentment for. And I walked in and I just say a general I because hi, so I don't have to really point out and say name like, hello, Lynn, hi. No, I just said general and that's it. So what my sister said was, so you're not going to speak to your older sister? And I said, I did. I said, hi. And she said, no, you didn't. That's not saying a proper hi. And I said, but I did. And she would just keep on going and going and going and going.
Poke,
and
poke,
I kept
poke, right?
Poke. And I said to her, I said, leave it alone. This is not your fight, because I know where she was going. And I said, leave it alone, leave it alone. And she wouldn't. And so, Lynn, I blew a gasket. I mean, I went crazy. I said everything in my mother's house besides the child of God. Do you understand?
I do.
It was bad. And my mom wasn't there. My mom was in Jamaica at the time. And the moment I got outside, was my aha moment. I felt like the worst person in the world.
And that's what happens to us, doesn't it? We allow it. We have lost control of ourselves. You walked in with control. You knew exactly how to walk into the room. You knew exactly how to say hello to everybody with just one hi. And then you were getting poked so much that you actually exploded and you lost control. And that is human nature. One of the things that I teach is how to control that, how to pause it and walk away. But it is hard.
It is terribly hard, especially when you haven't dealt with the issues that brought that stuff up. It is so hard when you haven't dealt with the issues. So in that process of feeling so bad about what I did and disrespect that I've caused at my mom's house, because we were all taught not to disrespect our parents no matter what. It's just a given, you don't disrespect. As much as I had all those resentment and all of that reservation about my mother, I never once disrespect my mother, but my attitude showed her exactly how I felt about her. There was no denying that, but it never really comes out of my mouth. So I felt really, really bad. So in that moment and in that time and the process to when I was able to forgive, I had to go on a soul searching. I move away from Christianity and I move into Buddhism, because I feel like Christianity would not have given me what I need, because I didn't understand the religion at the time. I grew up in it, but I didn't understand it. As I got older, I didn't get it. So I kind of move away from it, and then I move into Buddhism, and I got everything that I needed as I keep climbing, and I keep going, and I keep going. And then one day I was watching this show called How I Met Your Mother. I'm telling you, Lynn, I remember everything like it happened yesterday. And there was an episode, I can't quite tell you the episode. Cannot quite tell you the episode, but I was watching that episode, and for some reason I started bawling. Like I literally started to cry uncontrollably. And I heard the words in my mind, you forgive, you have to forgive. It's like, it's just playing over like a tape recorder. And so after I came out of my trance or whatever it is that I was in, I analyzed and I was like, so who is it I'm supposed to forgive? Who is it that I'm holding this resentment for? And so I have to piece the two together, because the one thing that God does is that he don't always give you the stuff lined up.
True that, sister. Yes.
You have to go
He
and pick things
scrambles us, doesn't he?
like, yeah, so you have to go in there and figure it out. And so I figured it out. Who is it that I'm carrying this hatred and resentment for? And once I figured it out, Lynn, I went over to my mother's house that day and I walked in with my armor, girl. I was strong. I was ready. I was bold. I was showering with God. I was just walking in God, right? And I walked in and I laid my mom and my older sister and my other sister, Rosemary, that did the poking. And I went, Lynn, one by one, Lynn, and I said exactly what God told me to say.
What was that?
I forgave you because I understand. And for my older sister, I went up to her specifically and I held her hand and I said, I forgave you for the things that you have done to me because I was not your responsibility to raise.
Wow.
And I understand that I was not the easiest child.
Wow.
I get it. And I forgave you. But there's a thin line in there. This is the part that's tricky. When you go in there and you feel so strong and that person said something that will bring you backwards, you have to be mindful of that because that almost happened to me. Because they don't understand what I'm saying, where I'm coming from, what's all this is all about. They operated from their human self, which we all do. Mm-hmm. And once she comes out of her mouth and she said something that she would have normally said on a normal day, I can literally find my energy seeping into hers, like it's just seeping into hers. And I have to pull it back, like, oh no, you're not bringing me backwards, sister. No, you're not. Lynn, let me tell you. And I said when I first walked in here that I did not come here for an explanation. I did not come here for sorry. I did not come here for anything. I came here to say what I have to say, and now let me go on my merry way. I picked up my purse and I walked out.
Congratulations. You took control of what you wanted to happen during that time, even when they were trying to even poke you. Maybe they were looking at you a different way, snarling.
They were.
You know those sounds that come out of people's, all that stuff? And you controlled exactly your purpose to tell them that you gave them forgiveness, and then you picked up your bag. Go ahead.
Yes, and I walked out, and I walked out that very step that I felt like crap, and I walked out, felt like I was reborn. Walked out like I was a whole new human being, and I've been walking in that faith ever since.
How long has it been?
Been about 5 years.
5 years. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. How many of you are you that is sitting on the couch right now resonating with Diana's story? Can you relate to exactly what she shared with you? And I hope that you could apply all of her golden tips of how to control and how to forgive. Okay, 5 years. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. What did you do for a career prior to where you are now? I'm still doing it. I am a caregiver. I take care of the elderly, and I'm still doing it today. I have been taking care of the elderly for 18 years, probably. It's just what I do. It's just what I love to do. I have nursed and nourished countless of elderly people back to health, and whoever passed on has passed on in better health and whatnot, whatever that is, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for being the giver and the caretaker that you are to so many that are at the last chapter of their lives, and their family members aren't showing up for them, and they expect you to do everything, and they take you for granted. I want to say thank you very, very much. And I represent everybody that has a parent that has a caretaker. I want to thank you.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. It means a lot to me because I remember days when I used to feel so unappreciative.
Absolutely.
Because I've been a caregiver for so long. Because they pay you, they really treat you a certain way.
It's true.
And so they never take in consideration you, the person, that you are a person too.
They don't.
And so, yeah,
You know,
but
I'm going
I
to
get,
share, yeah, let me share this with you. My mother, oh boy, she's a real piece of work, boy. She's one of them that unfortunately doesn't appreciate her caretaker. And I do. And I make sure I show it every single day in every single way. So my caretaker understands that no matter how mean and how boisterous and how unappreciative my mother is towards her, I love her.
yes, yes. And guess what? She's going to do a much better job for your mother because she knows there's at least one person appreciate her. And I am telling you, that touches me because I remember there's this lady that I love, and until this day, I love her to death. I took care of her for 8 years. And the reason I took care of her for 8 years because of the love that I have for her. It had nothing to do with her family. If I based that upon her family, I would not have done all the things I've done for her. And may God bless her soul. She was a good woman.
Has she passed on?
She passed on 2 years ago, yes.
Okay, may she rest in peace.
Yeah.
And she was
May she
so
rest in
lucky.
peace.
She was so
Yes.
lucky that she had you as a gift.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Yes.
Okay, so you're a caretaker.
Yes. In every way. I was born to serve.
You are absolutely a server.
Yes.
Okay, and now what do you do?
I am a spiritual life coach. Yes,
how did you
that's
become
what
a
I do.
spiritual life coach? Let me ask you that.
One, I believe in the whole person, and you cannot exempt spirituality, not religion, not all of that.
That's right.
Your spiritual self, your relationship with God. I am not a preacher. I'm not a minister. I don't do all that preaching stuff. I am here to bring you breakthroughs and bring out what God intend for, how God intend for you to live, so you can be that person. And that's how I became a spiritual life coach, along with taking some other courses and all the other good stuff that goes with it.
So from a negative place, you started listening to more personal development, right? To becoming more and feeling what your life really is all about and how you're supposed to have purpose to continue on, and you became a spiritual life coach. And I love what you said. You know, whatever the God is that you believe in, whatever that spirit is, whatever that universe is for you, as long as you keep following a light, you will become a brighter person. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
so,
yes.
I love this story.
Yes. I mean, I feel like we spend a lot of time, we spend so much time developing our bodies, our hair. We do everything to look good on the outside. I am a victim. Hello, done it. But what I'm saying is we also have to spend the same amount of time developing our spiritual side.
That's right.
Forget
and by
about
the way,
all the other
you're
stuff.
a victor now. You're not a victim.
Yes.
You're now
A
a victor. Okay, go ahead.
I am thriving. I'm not just a survivor. I am thriving.
There we go. Because from now on, when I say I am, it has to be a positive after that, doesn't it?
Yes.
You know, your past is your past. I am a victor. I am a survivor. I am strong. I am
mightyful, and I am a queen, and I am going to walk in that light every single day. Yes.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you.
This is great.
So yeah, so that's how I talk to people and I teach people, and the kids that I mentor them from the same space, because I also feel like when you teach children about the spiritual side at the early age, they grow up to understand more and the value more of life. They value more of life, and they develop their purpose much earlier. And I feel like they would not make some of the mistakes that they're currently making because they are trying to divide their spiritual side, and you cannot divide it. You just can't divide it. To be a whole person, you have to have your spiritual side and the other side, whatever they are, they have to merge somehow. And you have to bottle that up and live in that space. You can't have one without the other. You just
How
can't.
do you
That's
feel
just,
about investing in yourself to become who you want to be?
I believe that you should. Whatever the cost is, as long as you're growing, because remember, if you're not growing, you're dying. So therefore, you should always develop in yourself, however that development look like. I mean, investing in yourself, whatever that looks like. If that means buying more books or taking more classes or whatever that means, you should always, because one of the next thing I teach the young ladies or coach them, our, young people, is that you cannot go to your job and ask your boss for more money if you have not increased your value. You're not allowed to ask for more money if you have not increased your value.
Huh.
What is he paying you for? The same job you did last week?
That's right.
You have not moved up anywhere.
Diana, we're almost out of time. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. But we are. I want everybody to understand how to get a hold of you, how to get in touch with you. Please share with everybody. Do you have a book?
Not yet. It is on its way, though.
Okay. You are an author in production.
Yes.
Woo! And when your book comes out, I want a copy. I want it autographed.
Yes.
Please share with everybody how they could get a hold of you, Angel.
Okay. Well, it is Coach Diana at liveyourdreams.net, our Facebook, Diana M. Guy, or Twitter, it is Coach Diana, and Instagram, it's too much to remember. But I'm on Facebook, and one day I will have it all down where I can remember it all. But I'm on Facebook, mainly. Yes. Facebook, Diana M. Guy, and all the rest is there, yes.
Wow. And now you're a certified coach and a co-brand partner with Les Brown.
Yes. It's a beautiful institute. I am so happy with the global family that I have created. You know, when I was meditating last night and I was laying there and I was giving my gratitude and all of that, that was one of the things that I said, God, I am grateful for my global family. So grateful. I have a person anywhere now, if I'm feeling down and I want to stay down, it's because of me. It's not because I don't have somebody to call.
There we go. Well, everybody, you got it. Straight from the mouth of an angel. Diana Guy is an amazing woman who you should absolutely look up on social media and follow her, because she is a product of being fabulous. No matter what her past was all about, no matter what challenges she had along the way, she is fabulous, and she's becoming more fabulous and living her dreams. It's time for you to live your dreams.
Your dreams.
So remember, forgiveness is the key to setting yourself free. Diana, say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Namaste. Thank you so much.
Bye.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.